Hey everybody, today we're going to do a review on my 2020 430 Kubota loader. I had sold my 520S loader, which was this generation look wise. This is a 430, which is the same as what the old 420 was. Basically this has got emissions, which is just a muffler. This machine here probably does the regen less than anything I own. It's just when you're running this, you're running it at RPM where everything stays cleaned out. I want to say this only regens once or twice a summer on me. Again, when you're screening with it, you're running it around, it's normally at an RPM where the thing stays cleaned out pretty good. I think the only time you'll see one of these regen a lot is if you're using it in a tight area and you're not, you're shutting it off on and off. Normally when this starts, it's starting for a good run, and I think that helps with the regen. I'm going to come right out and say right now too, I really don't have an issue with any of my Kubotas with the regen. My 60 horse tractor, my MX 6000, it seems like that wants to regen at pretty inconvenient times, but again, that's one you can, depending on what you're doing with it. If you're bush hogging or dragging a grader, it'll regen while you're running it. A couple times I've had to just let it sit there and run for 15 minutes while it regens. That's when it irritates me. I'm going to go to my grave saying I don't think these tractors should have emissions on them. I don't think they use enough diesel in a year. I don't know why they make it go on tractors. I can understand big equipment that's taking 100 gallons a day to run, big horsepower, but this thing will run all day long on 4 gallons of fuel, 4 or 5 gallons of fuel. So I've never understood the emissions on these, but I'll do a quick walk around. I basically brought it in today. I'm going to do a oil change, fuel filter change. It doesn't need a complete service. I did that not too long ago. I believe this is probably the machine that gets the most hours put on it. It was a weird year this year. I have a little BX tractor that I think's right up with this as far as putting hours on it. I couldn't believe how much I used that little BX tractor this year, just jobs I was on. This seems to be the go-to tractor that everybody seems to grab to load a truck. It just does everything well. Another reason I do these reviews, I've had super luck with this. This did have one recall, which is the first time. I believe that's the first recall in 25 years of business. And it was a recall on it, something to do with the emissions, I believe. They added I think they had a problem with the fuel. They put a different fuel filter on it, basically. They put a more commercial design fuel filter on it, all free of charge. And while they had it, I told them the air conditioning didn't seem like it was working like it did before. It was just enough to keep you so you could leave the doors closed. Other than that, I could tell the difference. I thought a lot of my other equipment, when your air stops working, you normally just blow the radiator out and it will come right back to life. This one here had an issue up in the headliner, had a valve that wasn't opening or something, I guess, and they had to wait a while to get that part. That happened during, I hate using the word COVID, but it was during COVID, and I think they had a hard time getting the part. But they ended up giving me a skid steer to use while they had this, because they ended up keeping this, I think, 4.5 weeks to get waiting for parts and whatnot. But I don't even think I asked them. I would have if once I didn't have it for a week or so, because it was during the season when I was using it. But they didn't have one of these in their rental fleet, but they had a skid steer, so they let me use that for a few weeks. And I also will say something about that too. I like these small articulated loaders better than I do the skid steers. The track skid steers make more sense to me, but you can buy 2 of these for the price of one of those track skid steers. I mean, there's that much of a difference in price. And this is very capable as far as lifting capabilities, loading trucks. If you're taking skids off a flatbed, like skids of rock, this does everything I ask it to. Once in a while, you'll get a skid of rocks that the higher you go, the more uncomfortable it gets. I'm pretty good behind the seat. I don't get too nervous about something being light on its feet. But you'll see in my videos, I use this. I grab logs with it, with the forks when they're on it. This one here, I haven't done it yet, but I'm gonna add a splitter valve or something up here in the front, because I do want to be able to put my grapple bucket on this. This is a machine I believe I'll keep for the rest of my career. I don't plan on letting it go. The machine I sold was a 520S, which looked just like this, other than it was a step up. The tires were like an inch or so taller. When I went to replace that, I just couldn't get myself to pull the trigger on the new, I believe it's called the 530, and then now they come out with a 540. They're a total different design in this, and because of that, they're very expensive compared to this. And basically this is the same thing as the old 420 was. It's got emissions, and I think they made the cab a little bit quieter. I don't know everything they've done. Very easy to service. I'm going to say that during this video. This hood pops up. There is a plate on the bottom of this one that my 520S didn't have. You got to take stuff apart a little bit to get the oil change done. Or at least I do. I like looking around up in there and cleaning it out. It normally gets some mud packed up in there. I'm doing an oil change and stuff because now we've had a very weird winter in this part of New Hampshire. We had snow, then we had rain for the last 2 days, and the snow's pretty much gone. But I do push banks back with this, or I'll bring it to clean a parking lot up if we get an abundance of snow. But I want it ready to go. Big thing with me is I want fresh oil. Anything I'm starting when it's very cold or has set for weeks. This might sit 3 weeks before it gets started in the middle of the winter. It's a big deal to me to have fresh oil. Like, this isn't even close to being ready for an oil change, but I'm still doing it because I want fresh oil. I want a fresh fuel filter. I also treat the tank of fuel that's in there now is treated a lot heavier than most people might do, but I don't have any, I don't want any issues with it gelling up. A lot of times I plow the development I'm in. If I have a breakdown with a truck or get stuck with a truck, this is probably what I'd grab to go pull that truck back onto the road. Hasn't happened for years. Actually, I did get stuck with it once 2 years ago, but you grab hold of something with this, it normally pulls it right out pretty good. But I'm gonna do that. This isn't your typical review. I'm just giving you, I've had this for 4 seasons now. Super impressed with it. Had that one recall. I feel they kept care of very well. Fixed my air conditioning, didn't charge me. I believe that still was under warranty, but I mean, there was no question about it. They looked into it and said, hey, we know what it is. It's a part we can't get. And they said, come back over and we'll set you up with another machine while we have it. I did buy this one at MB Tractor. I'm gonna say during this video too, I have no issues with MB Tractor, but I have used Chapel Tractor for one of my pieces a few years ago. I'm not locked in to any dealer. When I got ready to get this, I had a chance to sell my 520 for decent money. It was actually a real good time to get rid of it. And this was the only one available. Again, during that COVID crap. And I wanted this, so I went right over. I pretty much sold my machine and made the deal on this that night and went and got it the next day because everybody wanted these. But another thing I'm gonna say in this video is if you have skid steers, you should give one of these a try. Even if you can get one out of a rental fleet, try it out, see what you think. I think there's a lot of guys that have skid steers that if they realize these are about half the cost, and I'm only saying that about the 430. Once you get into that new body style, the 530 or 540 and up, they are very pricey. A lot more machine, a lot more plushy. They go over the road better. This one's got a 2-speed transmission. Does everything I want it to do, but this isn't something you want to run over the road if you're plowing parking lots. I do believe this would push a snow pusher with no issues. I know a guy that's got one of these that he pushes a 12-foot pusher with, and the only thing he's done was chain the front wheels, and he actually put fluid in all 4 wheels to get a bit better traction. And if I plowed parking lots with this, I probably would take the time and put some beet juice and rim guard in these to get this thing a little more weight and traction. There's been seasons pushing banks back. A couple years ago, we were just having a season with it. We were getting as much ice as snow. That's the only time I felt I wish I would have had chains on the front of this. Other than that, I don't like running chains on stuff. When this machine's quite older than it is now, quite a bit older than it is now, I may make it more of a snow machine if I'm still doing that, but I'm really trying to step away from the snow plowing. Just getting sick of the hours that come with it, and I'm finding in my area the plow contracts are getting worse and worse every year because there's so many guys getting into it that don't know how to bid stuff. There's also big management companies getting into it, so I don't believe that will be the case. I'm hoping to keep this machine in good shape for the rest of my career, to be honest with you. This is one that won't leave me anyways, even if I don't believe I'm going to retire. I think I'm just going to try to work less hours. I don't really want to retire. I just don't think it's in I'm not that guy. I do want to take it easy and start enjoying life, but This is a machine I think will be around until I'm gone. These machines last. I've actually seen the 420s with 8 to 12,000 hours on them still running and not even smoking. They're still a solid machine. I've even seen some of these 430s, which I don't know how many years these have been out, but I've actually seen one of these that had over 5,000 on it, and the guy claims he's had no issues with it. I've literally, so far in 4 years, I believe this has got just around 700 hours. It's 600 and something hours. In the 4 seasons I've used it. This past summer, again, this got a lot of hours put on it because I did quite a bit of screening. I normally use my easy screen with my little 25 Hus 2501 Kubota, but again, this runs that little screening plant awesome. You can see better out of it. You can dump the dirt and stay a little further away, so if a rock bounces, you're not beating the crap out of your machine. So that's probably, this will probably have more hours than normal put on it because I'm going to probably start using this with the screening plant. I also plan on getting another screener that's going to be more of an on-the-road use, and this will probably go with it every time. I got one little dent there that I had a boulder roll down out off a hillside and bang in the side of me, but I don't believe I'll fix that this year because the paint's still in pretty good shape. But I just want to let people know, take a look at this video. I'm a Kubota guy. I mean, I get beat up all the time by local guys. Oh, you're a Kubota fanboy, but my attitude is I don't have problems with them. But I just thought I would do this review. I'm bringing it in to service it a little bit today. I haven't done a review on this tractor, I think, for over 2 years. I just want to let people know I'm still having super luck with this thing. I literally don't have one complaint. This thing just does everything well. A lot of guys will squawk on there that, oh, we don't think they grade as good of a skid steer. I do know a guy that's got one that when he does grade work with it, he puts a Bobcat style bucket on it that's lower and longer and finds that it grades better. But you're not going to grade. This machine articulates. This machine doesn't sit flat like a skid steer would. I do understand what people are saying. I also feel like the track skid steers they have now, I hear guys putting 14 grand in tracks, and they're like the old bulldozers where when you got to replace the tracks and rollers and everything else, cost you, anywhere from $7,000 to $14,000. But that's why you're doing all that running back and forth, grading stuff. I find I'm always going to keep a farm style tractor around with a grader blade and grader blocks on it. If you truly want to grade a road or grade a lot, use a tractor. You're going to end up with a lot quicker results. But this thing's still a real tight machine. I got one leak up here. Them hoses, once in a while you'll have a rock roll over the top of this bucket when you're getting aggressive with it, digging hillsides out, and it knocks those around, so there's an O-ring I've had to replace a couple times. That's the only leak I've ever had on this machine. Other than that, it's solid. The hoses are well protected. And that right there is just because it's got if that had the old style, Bobcat style levers you just pulled up, but I want to keep that. It's nice. I do rotate out of this bucket quite a bit. When you're on, there's a lot of times I'll change this bucket to forks 2 or 3 times a day, depending on what I'm doing. Now I've had that. This is the first machine I've had that on, where you just hit a button and it unlocks it and you can change. Now I've got it, I'm spoiled. I just thought I'd do this video, show people. Another thing I'll say during this video, it might be educational to some people. I've found over the years with the Kubota, used Kubota filters. Problem with Kubota, man, their stuff's expensive. I mean, that air filter's just shy of 40 bucks. Changing the oil, filters and stuff on this today is probably gonna cost me well over $200. If I was doing a complete filter change as far as hydraulic filters and everything, doing this myself would probably be $450. So, but again, I use all Kubota fluids, all Kubota filters, other than engine oil. I use Rotella. I've used that all my life, my whole career. Every diesel, my trucks, any diesel truck I had or equipment's always had Rotella put in it. I've had good luck. But other than that, I do stick with the Kubota oils and fluids. So, probably end this here. Like I said, all the lights are still working on this machine. I did break a mirror. I got into a tree and it tangled up in it. I got to order a mirror today. Again, I'm going to a dealer. They probably have that right in stock. I believe that's been the same mirror since these have come out, so I'd like to think they got one right in stock. Another thing I'll say about Kubota, I don't think I've ever gone to a dealer to get a filter or anything like lights where they didn't just turn around and grab it off a shelf. So another reason I stick with the Kubota products. So this video wasn't like a detailed what the horsepower is and all that. I did do one earlier a couple years ago. I'm also gonna say right here that I think a lot of guys with skid steers, if they gave one of these a chance, would probably jump over it, at least have one of these in their fleet. Snow removal, these are better. You can see out of them better. I don't think this would be good to bounce from parking lot to parking lot and go up the road with it, because I think it only travels at like 11 or 12 miles an hour. That's when stepping up to the 540 and 640s. They have a better, they're more of a on the road machine. They have a better, you're paying a lot more for those versions of this, but there's a lot more to them. I just can't get myself to spend that kind of money. You literally, to jump from this 430 to a 530 at the time, I want to say it was like $37,000 and change, and I was a little nervous when I bought this because I had traded my 520S, which was just the big brother. These used to be 420s and 520s, but with the new version, I think the hydraulic power of this, everything matched my 520. My 520 was a good machine though. It didn't even have 3,000 hours on it. It was still real tight and strong. But I feel this does everything that did. So, but again, if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. If you got any questions about this machine, don't be afraid to send me a message or ask that question. And I'm going to say this in all my videos when I'm doing these reviews. If I have other equipment you wanted to see a review on, or what my experience has been with it, all I can tell you is I'm a construction end of landscape company. This does everything I want it to do and does it well as far as I'm concerned. The only other machine other than this that I think I would even give a chance, because I've had a little bit of experience with them years ago, was the Yanmar articulated machines. They're well known in this area, and it's the same thing. 12,000, you'll see them up here with 12,000 hours, still running pretty solid. The Yanmar motors at 5,000, 6,000 hours, sometimes will start using oil, but they still run well. These Kubotas literally just run. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever seen a Kubota. I've never seen anybody have a Kubota that blew up. I know it happens. The Yanmar articulated loaders are the only ones I'd probably give a look at if there was a good deal on one. But again, if you like this content, please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.